Hey YouTube, it's your boy Mo Hunnits. All right, it's gonna be a jungle guide for beginners. Legit, if you're new to the game, you just started the game, or you're currently at a lower rank and you don't really know what to do, don't know where to start. There's just gonna be a segment dedicated for you, speaking on what you should do and what you should not do. Right. So a little about me before we get into it is I go by Mo 100, Mo Hunnits, either or. Right. My peak LP, right, the highest rank I've accomplished was Grandmaster 700 LP, which is in NA, it's North American server. It's around 100 LP away from Challenger. So around 5 wins away from Challenger. That was like at the highest peak. I believe I could have hit Challenger myself. As you can see right here, there's like 3 LP away from 700. I believe I could have hit Challenger myself, but I was like very burned out at the top. I took 2 minutes break and now I'm back on the climb again. Currently at 400 LP Masters. Probably the goal is to hit Challenger by the end of the season. But yeah, my consistently been GM throughout this year. You know, I've been playing the game since late of 2021, basically at 2022, because that's where I actually start playing the game a lot. My age is 23, right? So this is a little about me. Now we're gonna get into the depths of the tips, right? And this is gonna be just 5 things. There's gonna be, if you can wait a second here with me, there's just gonna be 5 things you need to focus on, right? Five most important lessons. Basically, I call them basics or jungle fundamentals, right? These five are important in every single elo, like every single elo. These are important and you have to pay attention to. This applies to every jungler in the world. It doesn't matter where you are. You're in Korea, your China, your EU, your Turkey server. You know what I'm saying? UNE, OCE. This is for every circular. This is for jungle in every aspect of the game. This is just the game fundamentals, right? So this is not in any specific order. I just went and listed them. There isn't like most important or least important. That order is not there. Just 5 most important lessons in my opinion, right? As a person who have reached a very high rank in a short amount of time. Um, First is camera control, right? So what is camera control? Camera control, right, for a jungler is when you're PvEing, so when you're clearing your camps, right? What are you doing with your mouse? Or what are you doing like while you're clearing? Are you looking at lanes? Are you checking timers? What are you doing, right? What you're supposed to do is look at every single lane, right? You're supposed to look at mid lane, top lane, and bot lane while you farm your camps. Two, right? Know where to gank, where not to gank, and basically getting feedback, right? Because you're playing in a very like secluded area, right? You don't have to deal with minions, you don't have to deal with enemy teammates being in your face all the time unless you're getting invaded. So you want to know what's happening on those lanes, right? You want to know if maybe just the lanes, maybe the enemy jungler, you warded the enemy jungler as well. You want to know where the enemy jungler is pathing, right? So camera control is one of the most important things, hands down. I remember when I was Hearthstone plat for like a year, and I didn't know camera controlling. I was like very lost. Like it was really hard to like. I would see the enemy jungler ganking, and I'm like, dude, but why did I gank? Was I supposed to gank there? Whatever, right? So back to the most important thing, camera control. So you need to look at every single lane while you farm, and then decide uh where to go to gank, depending on. Okay, so what does that depend on, right? It depends on the enemy team's champions. So let's say, for example, I'll give you a scenario, right? Let's say you are playing a Moon or Jarvan 4. You're on blue side, right? So you started the blue buff is on your left side. You started at blue side, right? You're pathing by. You finished blue. You went blue to Gromp, into Wolves, into Raptors, into Red, into Croc. Let's just say you full cleared, right? Right? Or your plan is to full clear. When you got done with Wolves, so 3 camps, you got done with 3 camps, you got done with your blue, Gromp, Wolves, right? While you're getting done with them, you're looking at bot lane, right? and you see that your teammates, they're trading like heavily. They're like, your ADC is trading really a lot with their ADC. You know, the sports engaging this or that. Nobody's dying yet, but you see there's a lot of fighting. Your enemy team is low HP. Your team is low HP. You just finished 3 camps, right? You're playing whatever Mumu Jarvan. You have like a champion that has a stun to offer, right? A CC ability, right? And but you see, here's the thing: you're looking at the lane while you're doing your PvE camps, so you can decide almost instantly what to do, right? So now, what's a good ideal situation to gank in? Let's say the enemy wave is pushed into your lane, so their lane is more pushed into your lane. It means that the line, there's like a line in the middle, they're across that line, halfway of the lane. So they're at a risk of getting ganked more, right? And they have to push in the lane, and your team is not letting them push, so they're kind of setting up a freeze. So like they're at a very awkward position while they're being low HP, right? And they still haven't pushed the lane, so they can't just walk to the tower or reset. You can decide to go level 3 gank them, right? And it's probably in a lower rank, it'll probably work out. It was probably going to work out, and you're probably gonna get kills. So most likely, or get their cooldowns, right? But it goes also vice versa. Like maybe you're watching through the lane while you're farming, nobody's trading, they're just focusing on farming. They have their cooldowns, super hard to gank him. They're not pushed up to your wave, they're just sitting in the middle. Then it's probably better not to gank and just full clear and then reset, right? And that goes to mid lane, that goes to top lane. So it's really important to have camo control when it comes to jungling, all right? So, and this, let's just say this is like a part 1 guide for beginners. There's going to be a second part for beginners as well, where I include pictures and stuff like that. But this is just to get your head kind of engaged into this way of thinking, right? So objective control. Right? What objectives? So usually as a jungler, how important are objectives, right? For jungling, one of your like most important things as a jungler is to get objectives, right? Because the more objectives you have, the more likely you're gonna win the game because they give you buffs, right? So how do you get objectives? When should you go for objectives? What's like the best way in going about it, right? So let's just say, for example, for first dragon, you see first drag spawning, right? You haven't reset yet, you haven't bought any items, right? Or your camp's all up. What should you do? First thing is check how much gold you have in your bag. If you have a lot of gold and you have to spend it before, then make sure to like spend the gold before the objective even spawns. So when the objective is spawned, you're there. You already have all of your items. You already have all of your gold spent, or all of your camps cleared. So you have prio, you have tempo, right? Not quite my tempo. JK. All right, but that's very important. And so yeah, so understanding that, making sure to full clear your camps, or just spend most of your gold or get most of your camps before an objective, recalling and spending it and getting the power spike and then coming back to the game and try to like force an objective. That's like first number 1 that should be in your decision making. Number 2 is, what is your corresponding lanes to those objectives are doing? So let's say for dragon, first place, your mid lane could be in a scenario where they're not pushed up, right? They are actually under their tower. There's a ranged mid laner. You have a melee mid laner, right? It's really hard to walk to the dragon. It's like super hard to walk to the dragon. You can't really walk to the dragon, right? You can't start it, right? Because if they have vision, she'll rotate on you, right? So now it comes to the second part, is making sure to know when to give up and when to take the objective. So if you have a mid laner who's under their tower, right, in your team, you can either gank the mid laner or help him push out a wave before you go to the objective. Same thing with bot lane. So you look at the 2 lanes and you see how they're doing. If they're both pushed under the enemy tower, the enemy team has to be forced under their towers. They're not gonna leave to help a jungler in the objective. So you can most likely go get the objective, and enemy jungler won't contest you. And if they do contest you, the support is probably could help you, or the mid lane could help you, right? So that's how you need to think about it. When it comes to objectives, I can most likely get an objective if my teams are pushed in their waves, and if they're not, I most likely should gank first before I should even consider an objective. But the mistake is here, don't go start an objective when your team is under their tower in both lanes and nobody's gonna help you. Then the jungler is just gonna come find you, their mid lane is gonna help them, their bot lane is gonna help them, you're just gonna insta die, and you're gonna give the objective, and you're probably gonna bait your team into dying as well. So that's lose, 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 lose scenario. There's no win. That goes for grubs and heralds too, right? I think for grubs, the really, really important is check if your top lane has prio, check if your mid lane has prio, and on top of it, I bet a really good habit I picked up is making sure to see the enemy support. See if I can find enemy support in the map before I start the grubs, before I go there too. Because if I don't see the enemy support in their lane, bot lane, that could tell me two things: either she just reset or she's just walking with her jungler to come at grubs. Your support might not be there, so you might have to give it up. It's better to give up an objective than force it and die and give up the objective as well. It's better just give up an objective without dying compared to dying and giving up the objective, right? That's number two. So number three, what's number three? Number three is getting a lead, right? How do you get a lead as a jungler? That goes back to camera control. So it like stacks. So camera control helps you get a lead, but you need to get a lead as a jungler. You don't just farm and hold your like fingers like hands together and be like, oh, I hope I can win the game. I hope my team wins the game. No, you need to get a lead as a jungler. You need to be aggressive. It doesn't matter who you play. It doesn't matter if you're playing a ranged AP champion jungler or a tank jungler or a hyper carry jungler or an on hit jungler, an aggressive jungler, or a jungler that waits till level 6. You have to get a lead no matter what, even if that comes to CS, objective, or kills. But you can do all three at the same time. That's why jungle has the most impact on the game, on the map, right? So you really have to focus on getting a lead. And that goes back to camera control, because if you have camera control, you're gonna know when to gank and you're gonna know when to get a lead. So it's very important to apply both of these things, right? Pushing side lanes. Exactly. So what is pushing side lanes? You're not a laner. You don't really you shouldn't prioritize pushing side lanes. But for example, if your top just died, right? And the enemy top is resetting and there's a big wave coming to your tower. It's better for you to go get that tower. To go get that CS that's pushing into your tower. Right? So first of all, that your tower doesn't lose a lot of HP. And you get to catch a lot of gold and XP from the enemy team's waves. CS that's pushing onto your tower because your top player just died or he had to reset and he's missing the wave. So that comes to the first part of it. The second part of it, you catch the after catching the waves, or that happens kind of like in early game or kind of mid game. What about late game, right? So let's say you're farming late game. Baron is up 20 minutes, 25 minutes, right? Nobody's on the map yet. You're the first on the map. You don't know where the enemy team is. Your team is like kind of still just got out of their base. They're just doing whatever the fuck they want. Like you don't know who's where and where's who, right? You just went to your blue buff. There's like a top wave. There's a mid wave. Nobody's gonna catch it. The tower is gonna get it, right? Or a dragon is spawning in a minute, and the enemy team's wave is hard pushing into you, right? And let's say your Crux is up. Just go push that wave, get free gold, free XP, and then go on the Crux. You have to get in the habit of pushing waves, especially off before objectives. Because if you push these waves out, the enemy team is gonna have to contest it before they get to the objective. So you can walk in that fog of war without expecting like, I don't know, 5 people in the bush. Because you have the waves pushed out, you have vision, and you most likely see the enemy team pushing the waves before they ever come to the objective. So you definitely have time when you spawn, right? Don't go to your camps right away if the enemy team's waves is pushed and your laners are like not pushing the waves. As a jungle, you can always do like a lot, especially pushing waves, right? And now ending the game. There's another point here I want to add. I will talk about it, but I should have added one. Let me see. It's too late now. I'll talk about it. I can't just add it to the side. But ending the game. How do you end the game? So this is like a big picture. All of this ties together. If you have good camera control, you're most likely going to get a lead. With a lead, you're probably going to get an objectives. With the objectives, you're probably going to be able, you know, with pushing the side lanes, you're probably going to get the objectives. Or with objectives, this. So how do you end the game? End the game is, as a jungler, you get a lead, right? What happens after you get a lead? You get objectives with the lead, right? Or you get the lead before, you get the objectives before you get the lead, and the objectives help you get the lead, right? But no matter what, it goes hand to hand together, right? Where it's get a lead, get the objectives, and with the lead and with the objectives, team fight, win the team fight, and end the game. Don't die. If you have a lead and there's nothing to do on the map, don't go for some really bad play and die and give shutdown. Focus on your farming, right? But again, just to emphasize, just to emphasize how to end games. Get a lead. With the lead you have, get the objectives. With the objectives you got, end the game, right? By team fighting. If it's like 20 minutes in the game, 19 minutes a game, and it's like a pretty like fast cutthroat game, there's a lot of like kills, a lot of fighting. Don't go farm your camps halfway in the game when your team needs you. If your team needs you and there's a lot of towers down and you're all this and that, and you're a fed jungler, go team fight. You're most likely going to win, especially if you have an objective lead or you have a gold lead, right? And that's how you end the game. You team fight, and as soon as you decide to team fight, you win a team fight, you're given two options. If there's an objective up, instantly go do that objective or instantly go end the game, right? And honestly, there's probably two more things that should be added here. Communication, like communicating with pings is so important. So as soon as you wipe up the enemy team, instantly ping Baron, Dragon, right? So your team can collectively go do the Baron or collectively end the game. So as one of those two, you have to decide what you want to do and make sure that is communicated very thoroughly and efficiently. So people can instantly listen to you and you get to do it, and there's no rooms for fuck ups. There's no room for messing things up where the enemy team might actually get you, right? And with that being said, this is a very, very beginner / detailed guide for people who are new to the jungle, have no idea what they're doing, right? This is from a person who has played against pro players, challenger players, and soon, inshallah, to be challenger, all right? Soon a challenger jungler as well. All right, with that being said, you guys have a lovely day. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Any question, do not be shy to ask questions. I don't really care. I love reading questions. I love interacting. It's better for me to interact than just sit quiet or just, have a quiet day. I love interacting. Make sure to leave any questions. Check me out on Twitch, right? MO100Z. Link is in bio. Also, make sure to drop a sub for any new future videos. With that being said, thank you guys very much. Let me know. And I'm saying, peace out.